Let's make some noise. Come on.
Thank you very much, Nick Foles. And let's make some noise indeed. Welcome back, everybody, to the final word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, which boy MattyB on the call on this Wednesday, February the 4th, 2026. And breaking news just about an hour or so ago. Jeff Stoutland stepping away from the Philadelphia Eagles, confirming or adding more mystery to the already leaking out situation about him being demoted from run game coordinator, and then the leaks coming out about coaches, not offensive coordinators not wanting to come here because Stoutland stood in the way. Now Stoutland's out, seemingly on his own accord, as he released a statement thanking the organization, the team, the city for 13 wonderful years. And now the questions are good. And first question I have, was this the bombshell? Was this the one that we were waiting on? Was it not Vic Fangio, but Jeff Stoutland all along? Perhaps this was the bombshell. Or maybe it was a double bombshell, and we just got the one. Vic Fangio seemingly has, well, I don't know, has he? He hasn't really decided yet. But the level of intrigue now that's surrounding this football team is now intensifying because of this situation with Jeff Stoutland walking away from the team completely. Not run game coordinator, not offensive line coach. No, he's done. Out. Finito. Is there some structural problems with the Eagles? Trust, and I'm sorry if I have to say this and hurt some feelings, but is this not a desirable organization? And are there cracks within this organization brought on by perhaps Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, and Howie Roseman, and Jeff Lurie? I guess we could put the big four there. What does this say about the future of this team? Jeff Stoutland's out. Vic Fangio is in and out. What's going on with the Eagles? So obviously that's going to be a big topic tonight about the breaking news of Jeff Stoutland leaving. We're also going to get into some hot stove. From hell or high water, we're doing a hot stove tonight. God damn it. I keep putting it off, and it's getting deeper and deeper as more players are signing. So we're going to probably do our final hot stove of the season tonight, and that's a great thing. That's an awesome thing. And we'll probably get that out of the way. Flyers will be in action tomorrow night. They got their own drama they're dealing with, but they'll wrap up their pre-Olympic break time against the Ottawa Senators and head off to points unknown, as some of them are going to Milan, some of them are going home. They'll have about 3 weeks to kind of think about things. So if you want to throw some Flyers conversations into the mix tonight, we'll definitely do that. Sixers with a trade today. McCain gone to the Rockets, the Thunder, about 80 different teams involved, but the Sixers made a move on the draft at the pre-draft deadline or pre-trade deadline. Is this a move to acquire picks? What was it? 2 firsts, 2 seconds? Is this a move to acquire more picks to perhaps make a play for Giannis before the Thursday afternoon trade deadline? Are the Sixers positioning themselves in to make a move to bring in Giannis to this team? And is that what that McCain trade was? And how do you feel about that trade? I am versed in basketball. I can talk it. Don't like talking it because I hate the NBA. But I love the Sixers. And Jared McCain seemed to be the odd man out. The Sixers couldn't seem to find a spot for him on this team. That doesn't mean that they couldn't find one in the future, but right now he just seemed blocked philosophically and also with other playing time and other people. So is this trade more of a move to so what's the other? This could also be a trade to get underneath the luxury tax. I don't think it is. I think this trade is a move to assess a bunch of picks to go along with their picks to go all in on a Giannis trade. So we could talk Sixers. Talk about anything else you want to talk about. We're going to do our other night segment. That's back tonight. We're going to do a Flyers or a Phillies, not a Flyers, but a Phillies spotlight tonight. And we'll also do our card review. So end our day in Philadelphia sports history. A lot of stuff to get going on this Wednesday night that seemingly was starting out to be a quiet night. Got turned upside down about an hour ago. Joe Hale, what's going on, Joe? And Ricky says, hi, good, Ricky. I hope Ricky's doing well, and I cannot wait to see him back here on the airwaves soon. And yes, the phone lines, they will be open here in a little bit. Let me get to that right now. Let me get the phone lines open so I don't forget. I will open the phone lines right now. All right, where are we at here? Okay. All right, so the phone lines are now open. We are only broadcasting today or tonight off of our YouTube and our X platforms. That's my fault. I know why. I know we're not coming off through Facebook, and I know why. That was my fault. I made a mistake there. But that's all right. We'll because we're running side by side right now, I think, with the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. I think they're still on the air. And I had a plan on how to subgate that, but I must have screwed it up when I was scheduling the show. So that's my fault. So no Facebook tonight. For those of you that are wondering, we are not on Facebook. Spread the word to come over here on YouTube and check us out, and on X. So sorry. Got a lot of things going on over here. Base camp has been busy today. All right, let's get into our first segment of the night. Let's get into our day in Philadelphia sports history. A twofer tonight. A twofer of our day in Philadelphia sports history. But before I do that, I want to remind everybody on the airwaves, this is what's happening on the network for the rest of this week. Tonight you had a Pittsburgh kind of night, and then you had me. Tomorrow you'll have the Gridiron Weekly. The Final Word will return for its final show of the week, and its final show of Base Camp. Next time I talk to you, when the Final Word will be from a hotel room in Knoxville, Tennessee. And by the way, there will be no show Sunday night. Just letting you know, we will not. I'll be in transit on Sunday, so there will be no show Sunday night. We'll come back Monday. Friday, we got the Philly Friday Frenzy. Best of the It's a Wrap Sports of the week for Saturday, and we started all back on Sunday with the Philly AM Sports. And then again, let me just let you know that is not going to happen. There will be no Final Word on Sunday night. That's not happening. So just an updated scheduling notice. I thought I was going to be leaving on Saturday, but I'm not going to leave till Sunday morning. So got to make that change. But yeah, there you have it. And then tomorrow, of course, our final Clear the Ice before the Olympics. Mike Lauro will have you on Thursday night for the Senators as the Flyers will wrap up their pre-Olympics time and head into their break. But a really good win last night against the Capitals. Absolutely a good win. So all right, let's get into our day of Philadelphia sports history. On this day back in 1991, the Hall of Fame baseball version voted to formally prohibit players on the Major League Baseball's ban list from being considered for induction by the Baseball Writers Association of America vote, the Hall's primary method for induction. The Hall made this ruling as a reaction to the banning of Pete Rose, the only expelled player who would have met all other BBWAA ballot requirements. Rose, the gritty leader of the Phillies' 80 championship team, was banned from baseball in 89 by League Commissioner Bart Giamatti for betting on baseball, or as Giamatti put it, for having engaged in a variety of acts which have stained the game. Oh, Lord, man. Yeah, that didn't age well, did it now, folks? But of course, that has since been rectified by the Hall of Fame. They have this year, I think it was in 24 or 25. Was it 25? They did away with that and said that all players that are currently on the Major League banned list can be considered for induction through a special committee that meets every 5 years. So Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, those players that have been long since banned by Major League Baseball are now eligible for induction into the Hall of Fame, rightfully so. And I'm glad that they are. One of the things about Hall of Fames that I find very, very, very funny is that, you know, everybody sort of always gravitates towards the Baseball Hall of Fame is the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not. It's the Baseball Hall of Fame. It has no direct affiliation with Major League Baseball. It honors all of baseball. So if you're a baseball player, regardless if you played in the MLB or not, you could be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, just like it's not the NFL Hall of Fame. It's the Football Hall of Fame. And then so on and so forth for hockey and basketball. Of course, their major supporters and the major, lifeblood of those institutions are the MLB, the NFL, the NHL, and the NBA. I mean, let's not be stupid about it. They're majorly part of that. Most of the players in these institutions are former MLB, NHL, and so on and so forth. But there is no ties to these leagues. Like, they don't control this. They don't control the Hall of Fame, is what I'm trying to say. So when Rose got banned in 89, everyone assumed that he would not be eligible for induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And that was not necessarily true. He could have been up until this day in 91 when they made it when they said that they weren't going to honor players that were on the MLB's banned list. So he could have gotten in the Hall of Fame before this day in 91. Now, of course, they have since the Hall of Fame has gone back and said, you know what, we're done with this rule. And I think partly because, you know, as Bart Giamatti said, he stained the game. Well, a lot of players have told Pete Rose to hold their beers because it's been some stuff that have happened since Pete Rose got busted for gambling or whatever, admitted to something. He never admitted to actually gambling on the team, but he admitted on gambling on his own team, but never against it or something like that. But it was definitely a witch hunt back in the day. And of course, it has not aged well at all. And there's so much other crap going on that dwarf what Pete Rose did and why he got suspended or banned from the Hall of Fame. And of course, now gambling being one of the major institutions keeping these things alive, man. Gambling's huge. Everyone that is embracing gambling now as a verified way. But hopefully Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson both find their way into the Hall of Fame here real soon. But that was my part one of our day in Philadelphia sports history. And our part two, of course, everyone remembers where they were this day in 2018. And that was after 58 seasons, the Philadelphia Eagles finally done it. The team captured its very first Super Bowl trophy in one of the most exciting Super Bowl games ever played. The Eagles held on to beat Tom Brady and the New England Patriots by a score of 41-33 behind the continued dominating play from its backup quarterback, Nick Foles. Foles, who earned the game's MVP. Oh, what? Nick Foles, you were a Super Bowl MVP? Oh, man. Why didn't we? Wow. Threw for 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, hitting tight end Zach Ertz for the eventual game-winning score with about 2:21 left to go. The two teams combined for an astonishing 1,151 combined yards of total offense in a back-and-forth battle that was still in doubt on the very last play after Eagles kicker Jake Elliott converted a 46-yard field goal to put the Eagles up 41-33. The Patriots' Tom Brady had one last chance. Brady, who threw for 505 yards in the game, he heaved a last-second Hail Mary towards the Eagles' end zone, only to see the ball hit the ground as time expired. The game was played in Minnesota, and, of course, what happened right after that was a outpouring of 58-plus years of emotion, frustration, sorrow, sadness, disappointment, major weights were lifted off people's backs that night, and I was not immune from that, of course. So we all have our own story of where we were when that ball hit the ground. I'll never forget where I was and who I was with. So obviously that was a banner moment in a lot of Eagles fans' lives, and it will always remain that for those of us that were around to see it. And yes, they've won one since, but nothing will ever change or replace the feelings that you had after that first one. That's just human nature. But truly an amazing night in 2018. Pins and needles the whole game. I don't think I sat down the entire game. And I really, during halftime, I was just sitting in my garage, just like being alone. I mean, did that take away from the enjoyment of the game? Absolutely. But of course, everybody was vindicated at the end when the Eagles held on to win. And we I joke about Nick Foles. I do. I joke about his status among Philadelphia Eagle quarterbacks and Jalen Hurts and all this. But, and I'll go to my deathbed saying that the day after the Rams game where Carson Wentz tore his ACL and Doug Peterson made that announcement, I did not lose any faith or confidence in what the Eagles could have done in 2017 because they were going to have to go towards Nick Foles. I was completely confident in what Nick Foles could do because of it seemed like every time he got a chance here, for whatever reason, it was always because somebody was hurt. He always made the best of that chance and that best of that opportunity. So I truly believe that the Eagles were good enough to overcome that and that Nick Foles was going to be fine. It was a little shaky out the gate there for his last few starts of that season, but he did well. The Falcon game was a little shaky, but then he turned a corner after the Falcons game. Dominant performance against Minnesota and just a dominant performance against the Patriots. And the Philly special, whatever. They're going to do that 30 for 30 is coming out this week on that. I think tomorrow or Friday it's coming out. So obviously a play that will live in infamy. There's a statue of the man down there at Lincoln Financial Field, rightfully so. And I can honestly say that night, the right person got Super Bowl MVP. Nick Foles surely deserved it in a game that was not necessarily a defensive battle, but was won essentially on the Brandon Graham strip sack at the very end and to seal it. But that was about the only good defensive play made the entire game. That was strictly an offensive battle, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But yeah, I'll never forget it. And then, of course, what was it? The following Thursday was the parade. I was there, yeah, nothing like it, man. Boy, oh boy, where have those feelings and days gone for me lately? About a year later, I was out on this damn team, or 2 years later, whatever it was. Well, there you go. There's your days, or there's your events in the Philadelphia sports history. 1991, the Baseball Hall of Fame votes to not allow players on the MLB's ban list to enter the Hall of Fame, which, of course, they have since rectified and abolished, and the Eagles winning Super Bowl 52. And there's your days in Philadelphia sports history, brought to you by the good folks here at the network who bring you shows just like this one. Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn will return next Thursday. Time to be announced. Yeah, me and Kyle will come together one final time and put a final bow on what has been has it been more of an exciting offseason than it was a season? I'd say it has been. But me and Kyle will talk we're going to rip open the wound and talk Eagles 49ers. We'll talk NFL postseason, and then we'll, of course, get into all the changes that the Eagles have already made and all the changes that they should make going forward into next season. So one last final time for 2025, or the 2025 season, the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. Thursday. I'm going to take that 7 p.m. Next year, that won't be there because I don't know how many times, I think, other than the first show of the year, that we actually appear at 7 p.m. on Thursday. But Thursday, at a time to be announced at a future time, sometime next week. Me and Kyle will come together one last time. So looking forward to spending one last night with Kyle Quinn before we wrap it up for the season. Seagulls team is screwed, 7-10 coming. And Mike Laro, great segue, Mike. Welcome to the program. Thank you for contributing. Are they? Is this actually, I put up a post. So just for some transparency, when you see posts pop up on all the It's a Wrap Sports social media sites, 99.9% of them are done by me. Not 100% because Al jumps in and puts a few up there, but I'm doing most of them. And you probably could tell by a lot of the wording that it's me. I was calling out homers in the Jeff Stoutland one. But let me ask you this, Mike, and everybody else watching. Is Rome falling? Is there cracks in the superstructure? Is this a desirable place? Is there issues? And are those issues, Jeff Stoutland, there's no rhyme or reason why he left, right? Because he doesn't retired. He's going to move on probably to another job. Was he forced out of here? Was the leaks that were coming out? And I remember the homers freaking out when that stuff came down, right? Oh, no, what are you talking about? Why would you not want to come here and play with Jeff Stoutland or coach with Jeff Stoutland? Are you crazy? Well, guess what, homers? You were wrong. Because this seemingly points to, for whatever reason, people didn't want to come here. And were the Eagles asking Stoutland to take more of a reduced role in order to, fit some other coach's needs? Was Mannion, was he wanting to reduce his role? Did he want to bring in his own offensive line coach? Do you want to bring in his own people? And were the Eagles like, hey, thanks for 13 years of service, buddy, but see ya? Did Jeff Stoutland feel a little like, screwed over by that? These are all interesting questions because it seemingly comes out of nowhere. And is this the bombshell that Schefter said it was going to be last week? Is this the bombshell? Or are we still waiting for that one? Is Vic Fangio still looming in the is that going to drop tomorrow that Vic Fangio has decided to retire? So I find it very interesting. I find it very, very, very interesting. There's Ricky. Ricky, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, Ricky. I'm glad you're back in the chat. Now we got to get you back on camera. Star Wars says, bye, Jeff Stoutland. Yeah. Bye, Jeff Stoutland, indeed. Let's go to the phones. Joe Hale standing by. Joe, how are you tonight?
I'm good. All right, I want to start with the Eagles, and then I got a Sixers point. And you're wrong about the Sixers. They only got one first-round pick.
I thought it was 2 firsts and 2 seconds.
No, they got Houston's first.
Didn't they get OKC's first too?
No.
Let me see. So it's 1 first and 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's still a pretty good haul.
I'll go back to the Sixers. I want to start with why Stoutland left. So long farewell. The Eagles offensive coordinator they hired got rid of the Eagle. They got rid of the quarterback coach and the line coach. Now there's a report saying that you can ask your buddy that comes on certain times on the 94.
No.
Say his
name. Say his name.
I don't remember his name. I had a long day.
Kyle Quinn.
Who's the other one that is the Eagles beat writer on 94?
Elliott Shore-Parks.
Elliott Shore-Parks is reporting that the bombshell could be Lane Johnson's retirement.
Yeah, I mean, or it could be Vic Fangio's retirement, right?
Vic Fangio is coming back.
I haven't seen that confirmed. The last I heard was no one can confirm or deny that, and the Eagles have not made any formal comments about that. I'm not saying he won't, and he probably will. But so you don't think this is the bombshell? This is something separate that kind of came out of nowhere. The bombshell's still coming.
I could see the bombshell being Lane Johnson or AJ Brown gone. And I'm okay.
Well, he said it would be broke this week, and I just figured this would be the bombshell. But Joe Hale does not think this is the bombshell.
I think there's more moves coming.
Yes, it will.
Well, and it's funny. They fired the quarterback coach today also.
They did.
And the rumor going around that Greg Olson is being interviewed for a coaching spot.
Yeah. Yep. For the quarterback's coaching position, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Not that Greg Olson, the other Greg Olson. Not the former Panthers tight end, who, by the way, is a douchebag. I don't know if do you know him personally? I know Greg Olson.
I met him.
So let me tell you. All right. I want to tell you Greg Olson's story.
Okay.
Greg Olson's big into youth baseball down in North Carolina. He's a coach for 12U, 14U, and 16U. He is a douchebag coach. I mean, entitled. I can't stand him as a coach. Every game I work with him, I'm like, oh man, really, man. You know, and then he's just not a good person on the baseball field.
You should have him come on the show.
I should. I mean, we're cordial to each other, but he's just a pain in the ass, man.
I would ask to deal with about the Eagles if you have a chance.
What's that? Ask him about the Eagles?
I would ask him about the Eagles if you had a chance.
Oh, I will. You know what? Maybe I'll reach out to him and see what we can do.
Yes. Jarrett McCain. I'm glad he's gone. They were trying to get under the luxury tax, but there's another move coming. I said to Al, it's nobody big. It's going to be Bobby Portis from the Milwaukee Bucks. My gut feeling is you go, and you just signed Barlow to the active deal to remain on the team. I didn't know he was on a 10-day contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew that. I'm trying to look here. I see. So Jared McCain got traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes.
But we ended up getting Houston's draft picks instead, because I guess it was like a 3-team deal kind of thing.
No. The OKC had Houston's pick to begin with.
Okay. Let me look at it. I'm looking at it here.
And they traded, and Westbrook, they traded with Houston.
I did see that, yes.
So it's Houston's pick, but then it's the OKC pick. Now McCain.
So you don't think the Sixers are amassing picks to go after Giannis?
No, they're trying to get under the luxury tax.
So, but right now we got a plethora of draft picks coming up over the next 2 seasons. You got a couple of top 10 protected. Now you got another first round next year. You got 2 seconds and 20, or you got 2 seconds and 27 and 2 seconds and 28. You think the Sixers are going to actually use all those, or you don't think they're in for a potential all-in type move?
Then they're not going to get anybody big. and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
A
I
bench.
disagree. I think they are. I think that's Daryl Morey's MO. He loves doing that.
If it's big, who do you go get? If Giannis is not, if it's not Giannis, who else do you go get?
LeBron James.
No.
I don't know. Maybe what's his name out of what's the kid out of Chicago? Or I don't. Maybe I'm the wrong person to be talking about this. Player that was linked to the Sixers out of Chicago a couple of years ago.
Not Vikovic. He got traded.
Yeah. Who?
Not Vikovic, because he got traded to Boston.
Yeah, no, not him. I'll think of it. Go ahead. Go on with your point.
I'm okay that you traded Jared McCain because there's people in the D League that can come up and play.
Well, Jared McCain really didn't have a spot here, right? I mean, they were unable to kind of work him into a position, right? I mean, he's sort of the odd man out. Would you not agree?
I would agree. Yeah, he was the odd man out.
Yeah, didn't really have an opportunity to work his way into that rotation with Edgecombe now here. And there wasn't really much of a future for him, right? There you go. Thank you, Mike Laro. Zach LaVine. That's the name I'm looking for. You don't think they could go in for a player like that?
I could see him going after Drew Holiday.
A point guard? Like a straight point guard?
A point guard, shooting guard?
Yeah, but he's more of a point guard, though, right? I mean, I don't really trust him much. I mean, his strengths are as a point guard, right?
Because he used to be here, and he loved it here.
But does that mess up the flow is what I'm trying to say. Like, you put him on the floor, then you're what? Are you going with 3 guards in your starting 5?
No, he can go off the bench.
Okay, so you don't start him. Okay.
You need bench help.
Okay.
Because you got VJ, and I would be happy if they got rid of Oubre.
So I thought actually this trade here for McCain, I mean, that's almost like, would you not, it's like an Oubre level type player, right? McCain, or was McCain a lot more value because he's younger? I mean, I look at Oubre and McCain bringing pretty much the same type of return value as players, right? Would you not agree?
So they have 2 first round picks because they traded their first round pick. I'm talking about next year's draft.
Mm-hmm. Let me see.
I know it's OKC's, and it's the Clippers, and that's a projected top 10.
That's the protected one, right?
Yes. Everybody wants that, and Dalmore's not going to do that.
All right. So next season, which is what, 2026, right?
Yeah.
Or this coming year. Let's see, what the hell? Why don't I can't see. Stupid ass site doesn't have 2026. All right. There you go. Here's one. So as of I guess
Or Mike.
Yeah, they got so the Sixers own their 2026 first round pick to the Sixers owe their 2026 first round pick to Oklahoma City with the top 4 protection.
Okay.
But if the Sixers first lands in the top 4, they would keep the pick and projection would roll over to 2027. The pick ends up in the top 4 again in 2027. The Sixers would instead send Oklahoma City's their 2027 second round pick. So yeah, it's top 4 protected, not top 10.
No, what? No,
right. Then
the pick,
and then the Sixers. Right. I'm moving through it right now. The Sixers have a first round pick of the Houston Rockets, which was the trade they picked up today. That was they got Houston's first round pick. So they do have 2 first round picks coming up in 2026. Their own, and this one from the Rockets.
I don't think they're going to package all those picks.
I would trade a second round pick next year or this year too.
I would trade 2 of them.
Trade 2 first rounds?
Yeah. And not for Giannis.
So who would you send 2 first round picks? One of them being the top 4 protected.
Whoever is good out there. It's all. They're saying that Giannis might not even get traded until the summer now. And that's what Daryl Morey could do also.
Yeah, he could do it.
So,
But I think the Sixers are in all in mode right now. I really do. And but I don't know if they can actually play Giannis off the bench. I don't know how that would look. I don't know who's coming off the bench, or if they're going to go 4 deep. Four big men.
To be honest, they were talking about trading steroid guy, Paul George.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they'd have to, because don't forget, Giannis is going to have to one contract for one contract. You have to send another contract back over there. It can't. Yeah. It could not be just picks. It has to be a player, and it has to be a player that has a equal contract value than Giannis does.
Because he has 2 years left on his deal.
Yeah, so that would be Paul George or Embiid. It would be one of those two, or Maxey.
It would Embiid going.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah. So am I.
That's it for tonight. And who was that? Valdez just signed with Detroit.
Farmer Valdez. Yeah, I just saw that for 3 years. Yeah, I just saw it. So I was going to break that here in a second, but yeah, another big player off the board.
Okay.
All right, Joe. Tomorrow night, let's wrap it up, man. All right.
Yep. Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry about that, Joe. Yes, Super Bowl picks tomorrow night, and we'll talk Super Bowl tomorrow night. As Joe was saying, Farmer Valdez, formerly of the Houston Astros, is now officially a member of the Detroit Tigers. Just signed, breaking news a few minutes ago. Now, Scooble's arbitration meeting, I believe, is tomorrow, as he'll go to arbitration one last time with the Tigers. And I don't think the Tigers trade Scooble. I think they ride him. It's going to be a funny situation, man. An agreement on a 3-year, $115 million contract. 3 years, 115? A little high. A little high. I don't know. For a 32-year-old left-hander, a little high. But, I mean, he would be definitely something for 3 years. Got $20 million signing bonus, by the way, too. I don't know. If there was a year for the Phillies to go do something like that, this would be the year to try to, add a little bolster to that rotation. Yeah, little assurance to the rotation. But that's a lot of money. But I don't know. It's good for the Tigers if they hold on to Scooble. But does Scooble actually, does he make it through the season with the Tigers? I mean, the Tigers are in a bad spot with this kid. Because there's probably a 0% chance he re-signs next year when he hits the open market. There's a 0.00% chance Scooble's going back to Detroit. There's none, right? But yet if they trade Scooble, I mean, they're kind of dooming themselves for the season, and they're a decent team. I mean, what do? Do you just let the season play out and see where the Tigers land? And if they're out of it in late July, you say, the hell with it, we're trading them. Or, I mean, that's a tough spot to be in, man, because you're like, okay, we're in it, but we're in it like the Phillies are in it. We don't have a legitimate chance to win a World Series. We're going to make the playoffs. Maybe we make a run, but we hang on to Scooble, then he walks in free agency and he gets nothing. I mean, they'll offer him a contract. He'll, the qualifying offer, he'll deny it. So they'll get protected with some free agent draft move compensation, but you're not going to get anything in the value that he's worth. Or do you look at potentially moving him? It's a bad spot to be in, man. And this is what happens with these low budget teams that are not or confused on how to run organizations, right? I mean, the Tigers never should have let him get to this point. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You lock up good players and you just don't let it get to this point. But now the Tigers did, and now they're in a position where they're going to probably lose this kid, and he's going to walk, and they're going to get nothing in return. And that's horrible for them. But it's good for the rest of us. I wouldn't mind seeing Scooble playing for the Phillies next year. That would be a nice little pickup right there. It's a solid 1-2. Don't forget, Luzardo's a free agent at the end of the season. So we put Wheeler up top, Scooble at 2, right? Nola 3. Hopefully it's Painter at 3 at this point. I guess Noel down at 4. That'd be a pretty good little rotation, man. All right. Little G checks in. Eagles keep AJ Brown. I hope they don't. Tomorrow 3 is the NBA trade deadline. I still believe the Sixers are amassing picks to go in big for somebody big. I think they're going in. I don't think this is a Daryl Morey, doesn't strike me, and he hasn't struck me since he's been here as a guy that just, he seems to live for the trade deadline, as demonstrated for the last few years that he's been here. He makes his bones there. Now, he makes bad trades, I'll give you that, but he seems to live for the trade deadline. I don't think the Sixers are done. I think they're moving up, and they're picking up all these draft picks, and I think they're going to clear the board, and they're going to go in for a Giannis-type player or Zach LaVine. I still wouldn't mind seeing Zach LaVine here. I've been a big fan of his. All right. Let's go now to our next caller, Michael Papernick. Mike, how you been? Where have you been, man? You've been kind of.
Hey, Matty, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Where you been?
Okay. Oh no, I'm back to work. That's why.
Oh, really? Stupid ass job.
Yeah, no. What it was, I work for the school district up here. I do custodial work. So,
okay.
What it is I blew my elbow out a few months ago. I had to get surgery, and that's why I was out of work for a while. And
well, I'm sorry you're back at work.
What's this trade with this? I ain't sorry because I wish I hit the lottery. I wouldn't have to come back here. But but you can see I'm working hard.
Oh yeah.
I've only been done for the last 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 3 hours.
So, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So wait, what was this trade with the Sixers? I didn't hear. What's that? What happened with that say? What was that?
Jared McCain got dealt to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And what happened in return, the Sixers picked up. Let me try. It's a complicated trade. So. It's all about draft picks. There's like 3 different teams involved.
Did they get any players?
Why can't I just look up? Hang on, just give me a sec. No, it's just draft picks. So I'm thinking that the reason why they're doing this is they're amassing draft picks in order to flip somebody big for a big player. I really do. I really honestly believe that's what they're doing.
Okay. But here's the thing with that. Now their bench, McCain, isn't he like their best player coming off the bench?
I wouldn't say that. He was sort of like sort of a square peg in a round hole. He was sort of buried on the bench a bit because of the rotations. And when he got in for some quality minutes, but it was really hard to find minutes for him. So the Sixers traded him to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Houston's first round pick in 2026 that Oklahoma City had, and 3 second round picks.
Okay. I'll take that.
The second round picks are 1 in 26, 1 in 27, and 1 in 28, I believe.
The second round picks in the NBA are like gold anyway. People love them.
Yeah, they are, but they only have 2 rounds. So I honestly believe that Daryl Morey is because they also got they got a top 4, top 10 protected pick of their own for next year in the first round that they could package.
But who's available outside Giannis? Who's available? I don't know who's available.
And it would have to be contract for contract, so they'd have to flip somebody too. Like there would have to be a player traded. Like
I hope they're not going after Grant out in Portland.
They might be. The NBA has a rule that if you trade for a big contract, you gotta trade away a big contract. It's got.
Yeah, I understand that part, but the Sixers are in a bad spot right now. No, they can't trade Paul George because he's suspended. Nobody's going to want him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing: do you actually trade Embiid right now, and hope George comes back?
I would. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would.
I think I'd wait till the summertime for him.
Embiid has had a resurgence this year, but Mike, come on.
I'm talking the summertime because if Paul George wasn't hurt, if this didn't happen to Paul George, you can't. It's just that's the problem.
You can wait and see. George will be back before the season's over. He comes back in late March, so he'll be back.
Yeah, but what Paul George you getting back?
Hopefully,
he don't want to play the 4. He don't want to play the 4. He's 6'9", don't want to play the 4. That confuses me.
Yeah.
This ain't a bruising league anymore. So he's perfect for the 4.
He's perfect for the 4, especially at this day and age. I agree. But I'm saying, I wouldn't mind moving on from Paul George, but you're right. Who's going to really take him? But is this a salary dump? I know Paul George has got 2 years left on his contract.
Well,
got another year.
That's what I mean. No, what I'm saying is you got Embiid playing right now. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't trade Embiid. I'm saying because if Paul George didn't get suspended, I would say flat trade Embiid right now, or one of them. You know what I mean? But you don't know what you're going to get back in Paul George in 25 games.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And Embiid's playing at a high level. And if you get Zach LaVine, really, if you trade for Zach LaVine and you got to give up Embiid, yeah. But here's the thing: is he really going to put this? Is he the next level guy to move us to the next level?
No, and I don't think Giannis is either, though. That's just it.
Giannis is a way better basketball player than Zach LaVine.
But is he going to put this team over the top? I don't know.
Yeah, he can.
If you take Embiid out of the equation for Giannis, if you imagine Embiid or Giannis and Paul George and Maxey and Edgecombe, is that a better group than matching Giannis with Embiid, Maxey, and Edgecombe? You know what I'm saying?
I think Giannis elevates the team more, whether he's with Paul George, Ibona, or Embiid, Maxey. You know, I think he does elevate. I mean, think about this. He won a championship with a Milwaukee team who had whatever his name was, the shooting guard, and they had the point guard that used to be with the Sixers, and Brook Lopez and Portis.
Yeah.
So you're putting.
How many years
here's
ago
a
was
question.
That was like 5
you're
years ago,
right. You're right. No, you're right. But I mean, he did something that nobody. He done something that for a small market team, he carried that team.
No, I don't doubt that Giannis is a better talent than Embiid, and he's pretty much been a better talent than Embiid throughout his career. I'm not doubting that, but right now, like today, if the Sixers are going to move in somebody big, and it's Giannis,
you got to move Embiid. You got to move Embiid out of the East. I'm going to tell you that right now. You got to move him out of the East. You can't keep him in the East.
Okay. Well, Zach
if he stays healthy, if he
what's going on?
Well, okay. So I'm going to get off that. I want to get to something that I just found out about.
What's that?
So Jeff Stoutland stepped down.
Left. Yep, on his own accord, apparently.
Yeah. Because the buffoon's still running the team. You know, you got the moron still. Hey, it's funny how the last pin's still there. You know.
Yep. They're all falling around them.
I hope. You know what? I told my buddy. I hope Fangio leaves now. I hope he just leaves. I hope Fangio leaves, goes to another team. I hope Stoutland goes to another team. Now it's all Sirianni. Sean Mannion. All of a sudden, I read Sean Mannion's bringing in his own guys. Well, if that's what Dable wanted, why didn't they do that? If that's what any of them guys want, why did they do it? Oh, that's right. They're gearing up for 2027 when Sean Mannion's going to be the next head coach of the Eagles. That's what they're doing.
It's a very good point, and that's a very good point, Papernick. And when we talked about this last week when they hired Mannion, and here's the thing, you know, about a week or two ago when the leaks were coming out that people weren't wanting to come here because the Eagles wouldn't part with Jeff Stoutland. They wouldn't, they wouldn't take him, or they wouldn't fire him, or they wouldn't move him to a different spot. We all scoffed at that, or a lot of people scoffed at that. Oh, why would you not want to come here and have Jeff Stoutland, a Pro Bowl or All Pro level, Hall of Fame type coach? And now here we are, 10 days later, and Jeff Stoutland's walking away. You know, did they finally bow under the pressure? Does Jeff Stoutland feel a little?
They bow under pressure. They bow under pressure.
Does Stoutland feel a little underappreciated did the team come to him and said, Jeff, man, you gotta take a lesser role, dude. They want to bring their own people here. Is he a little offended by that after 13 years?
No, I think what he's offended by is Sirianni not sticking up for him.
That's my point. Does he feel like left out in the
who's been there for all them years? He's not a 1-year deal. This guy's been there for 13 years, has one bad season. He's got 7 players, 27 Pro Bowls between 7 players.
Yeah. 3 different coaches
came in. And I just read that other teams are interested. He's going to be on another team next year.
No, he's going to be on another team by the end of the week or by the end of next
Don't worry. Don't be surprised. Pittsburgh. Oh, wait. Here's a name for you. New York Giants. Oh, that's what I wanted to get at. I got a question for you. Do you think John Harbaugh is a better coach than Nick Sirianni?
Yeah. Why would you ask me that?
Well, I'm not. Well, because I ain't going to get into it. But some people say because he's only won 1 Super Bowl in 18 years, and all this, he's not really that much of a better head coach than Sirianni. He's been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years or whatever.
Well, Sirianni's only won 1 Super Bowl too.
They're talking about in the short period of time what Sirianni's done over the 18 years that John Harbaugh's done.
Let me ask you, if you look back over the very simple, this is how I look at it. You look back over John Harbaugh's time in Baltimore, and yes, he had a fantastic defensive team back in the early 2000s and whatever. But wait, was he? No, he wasn't even the head coach then. When he took over in 2008, right? They were coming at the end of that. They were sort of at the end of the Ed Reed, what's his face, Ray Lewis era, right? They kind of
Every was there. They won the Super Bowl with Ed Reed and
they were
Ray
wrapping
Lewis.
up. They were wrapping up. So the team went through a transition not too long after that.
But I mean, he won the Super Bowl with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
Right. Yes, he did. But then they quickly, within a few years after that, it was pretty much the downfall. And he still kept that team relatively competitive in that division, in that conference throughout the run of the Patriots, throughout the run of the Chiefs. They were still kind of there, and they didn't have good players. They've had Lamar Jackson since 2018. That's really the last. I mean, it is what it is. I would take John Harbaugh over Nick Sirianni any day of the week. I mean, I would have too, man.
Thank you.
Nick Sirianni is not the reason why the Eagles won a Super Bowl. They're the reason why the Eagles got eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. They are, because when the man had a coach, when he didn't have a running back gashing teams for 2,500 all-purpose yards, and when Nick Sirianni actually had a coach, you saw the flaws of this football team.
Well, that's it. As I get called by people on your network, I think I can't remember how they call it. It's more like I'm Matty 2.0. I'm you.
That's a compliment, man.
Well, yeah. Don't bother me. Because they're the bumbling fools that are saying that John Harbaugh isn't basically a better coach than Sirianni.
Hey, homerism is a disease, Mike.
I love them guys.
Yeah, exactly. They're inflicted with a disease. They need help. They're good people. They just need some help.
I mean, when I sat there, I'm like, what about Mike Tomlin? Oh no, Mike Tomlin. What could he coach? Mike Tomlin don't coach offense, but if he had to coach a defense, if the defense went to shambles, that's his bread and butter. He was doing that before he became a head coach. He can run a defense. Nick Sirianni can't run a tic-tac-toe board. He can't do nothing but stand there with some pom-poms and just cheer on. And now it's just this whole, like I said before, it's funny how the Eagles were the glorious franchise, and now they dropped. The Phillies have dropped, and the Sixers have moved up.
Yeah.
The number one franchise.
Let me ask you this, Papernick. Let me ask you this. Is there any universe that you could see Nick Sirianni being in Philadelphia for 18 seasons?
Oh, fuck.
No, right?
No,
just no way.
I heard that he would be I heard he would get a head coaching job again, too. Now, I'm going to tell you.
But my point is this: John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin all stayed 18 years with their organization.
That's it.
For whatever
Sirianni
reason that was. Sirianni's not lasting 18 years with the Eagles.
Okay, here's a better question: is Nick Sirianni a better head coach than during Andy Reid's tenure with the Eagles?
No.
Okay. I ain't saying they said that. I put that out there too. Because it was like. And they didn't say anything about that. They didn't answer that. But it was like, because I figured, okay, maybe they want to compare that where Andy couldn't get over the hump. You know what I mean? They couldn't get over the hump to win the Super Bowl. He's, and all that. But it's just, this guy can't, man, I'll stand by this. Barry Switzer, who, if people remember, was a really, really, really good college coach at Oklahoma. He won national titles. He's a buffoon in the NFL, but at least he knows how to coach a football team. This guy don't know how to coach nothing.
No, he doesn't.
And now they're dropping like flies. Stoutland, you're going to lose. If I'm Fangio, I'm like, I'm out of here. And you know what? It'd be the best move for the Eagles because go hire Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz will never be an NFL head coach. Never. Nobody's going to hire him. If he couldn't get the job after 3 interviews with Cleveland, he's never getting a job again in the NFL. I can tell you that right now. Never. Just hire him and let him be because he's a decent guy, a decent coordinator, and just let Fangio go where he wants to go. He don't want to be here. All they did was this. Look, Nick. I mean, Vic. This is what we're going to do. Look, you're making I don't know $500,000 a year or $1 million, whatever you're making. We'll bump you up to like $2 million, and we'll send the black bag through the El Chapo underground line so you can get an extra $100,000 off the books. I'm telling you, the guy don't want to be here, and they're forcing him to be here. Note this recipe sounds like he's going to quit before mid-season or before summertime. McDermott ain't going to be available. Neither is Schwartz, and they're going to be done. This team, they're allowing this guy to just be the last man standing.
Good point.
This is horrible. This is, like I said, I lived through Marion Campbell. You lived through Marion Campbell. Look,
yeah.
You lived through Rich Kotite. I mean, he talked, but Marion Campbell was a horrible, people don't understand Marion Campbell. Horrible great defensive coordinator, horrible head coach. And they don't understand, these people don't have no clue when they sit there and speak, we'll give Sirianni and this no, look. They need to just cut ties with this guy. Just cut ties. If you're going to make Manning, just make him the head coach. What the hell? Get it out of the way. Let's just get it all out of the way right now, because this is going to be a bad off season. You got the AJ Brown debacle. You got who knows what's going to happen with Jalen. I mean, you got an offensive coordinator coming in. This is spiraling down. It's going, as Tio said. Matty, get your popcorn ready. Going. This is going to be bad. I mean, then you got the bumbling Phillies over there. I mean, they signed who was it? Daniel Robert or Roberts. Oh, they
Daniel
brought
Roberts
him back. And wait, you said something earlier. The Phillies are in a bad position after this season. They only have, after the season, one more season of Christopher Sanchez. They got to sign him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they better sign him because Wheeler's supposedly retiring after the 27th season.
And Luzardo's a free agent at the end of 26 as well. Jeff McClain reporting that Vic Fangio has confirmed he will return for 2026. So Vic Fangio is coming back for this year.
Well, how he went to his house and said, listen, look, you're making whatever you're making, we're triple on that. Because I'll tell you know where I bet you Fangio wanted to go if he left, but it's a shame he probably because he's hung around. I wonder if he wanted to go to San Francisco. Raheem Morris is out there now, but he has ties to that. He was out there before. I don't know if it was with Kyle in the beginning or before Kyle, but he has a connection to the 49ers, and they had the defense coordinator position open. And I was worried him going there. I mean, I was like, man, people want to this ain't Jalen. This is a Nick Sirianni problem. Nobody wants to play with Nick Sirianni. Fangio wants to leave. Stoutland's gone. Sean Mannion's coming in and never called a play. That boggles me. 3 months of searching, you get a guy who never called play in the NFL. This is great. Yep.
As you said, get your popcorn, Papernick.
Oh, it's going to be great, Matty. It's going to be great. Tio said that was the greatest quote. Get your popcorn ready.
All right,
yes,
man,
indeed.
Tomorrow, all right, brother.
Yeah, I got I got everything set up, so now I can get on here. I couldn't get on last night. I couldn't set nothing up in the school. I was going to destroy rooms if I could.
Well, I'm glad you found a way on. All right, we'll talk tomorrow, Papernick.
All right,
Mike Papernick. Yeah, so Jeff McClain Jeff McClain just reported that Vic Fangio will return to the Eagles in 2026. So there's a little continuity there as we're on the heels of the Jeff Stoutland news. So Vic Fangio, as per Jeff McClain, is returning in 2026 for the Eagles. That's good, right? That's good for you, all you homers out there. You can get to sleep tonight. All right. You can use that to brace the whole Jeff Stoutland stuff. All right, let's go on to our of the night segment. I don't know what that was. All right, we're going to hit real quick our Philly Spotlight player of the night. One of the core players, or is he? I don't know. You be the judge. But a player that they're going to lean heavily on in 2026, a player that I was firmly on board with moving off of in 2026. Oh, by the way, Miguel Andujar, as reported by Jeff Passan, has signed a one-year deal with the Padres. So Miguel Andujar of the A's that was traded to the Reds late last season has now signed a one-year deal with San Diego. So another quality bat off the table. $4 million for 1 year. That's a deal the Phillies could have made. I would have been okay with that. But tonight we're going to talk about a player that the Phillies are going to rely heavily on. Hopefully find a role for this guy, because I am not a fan of this player at all. I think the Phillies should have moved off of him. I wanted his replacement in the form of Luis Arraez. But I think if there's a player on the Phillies that has gotten a bad deal through Rob Thompson's tutelage, and there's probably a bunch of them, but I think this player kind of rises to the top of the pile on this for me, and that's our boy Bryson Stott. Now, of course, this picture is maybe Bryson Stott when he was like 13, but just for the purpose of this exercise, just look at that picture and think of Bryson Stott. But anyway, Stott batted .257 last year, 128 hits, 13 homers, 66 RBIs, stole 24 bases, had a very, very solid 719 OPS, scored 66 runs, walked 54 times, but struck out 91 times. The problem I think with Stott, and again, he's an above average to elite level Gold Glove defender. So that in itself keeps him around. But Stott, who will be a free agent at the end of the 27 season, will no doubtedly be back next year or this season and probably 27. But I still think there's hope for Bryson Stott. And again, what I mean by that is I think Bryson they need to find his role on this team. And that role is a bottom feeder of the lineup guy. And that's it. I don't care if he starts batting 800, 900, 1,000. I don't care what he does with his batting average. You don't leave him down in the bottom of that lineup. Make him the part of the bottom part of the lineup that turns the lineup over back to the top. You're going to need some protection down there for Justin Crawford, right? You're going to need some protection down there for him. And I think Bryson Stott can provide that in the bottom of the order. Bryson Stott's not a leadoff hitter. He's not a 5-hole hitter. He's not a 6-hole hitter. He's a fringe 7-hole, definitely an 8. And on this team, he won't be a 9 this year, but he's definitely a 7 or an 8. And you got to put him down there in the bottom of that lineup and let him figure out how to be a 7 or an 8 hitter. And I think, as I said, I think Bryson Stott's career has been yo-yoed around by Rob Thompson and the way he runs baseball teams, offensively at least. And I don't think Bryson's ever gotten comfortable offensively. There was the undue expectations put on him early on when we were comparing him to Chase Utley. And I don't think we needed to do that. And I think that hurt him. Compare Bryson Stott to Bryson Stott. He needs to figure out who he is offensively. Those numbers are pretty solid for a bottom of the order player. And if you keep him down there, maybe he drives that average up to about 265. Maybe he drives those hits up to about 140. Maybe he drives up those home runs to about 17. RBIs maybe to 80. Stolen bases to 30, 31. That OPS goes from 719 to about 750. Maybe you drive up those numbers with a little bit of comfort for Bryson Stott with inside the batting order. And I think if you do that, if you are patient with him and you leave him where he needs to be in the bottom of that lineup, he could be a productive member of the lineup. It's when you mess with him and you're constantly moving him around the lineup, as I think you're screwing with his head. And I think he's a victim of that, especially on the Rob Thompson. No disputing his defensive ability. It's a borderline Gold Glove. But if they could find a way, and I think that way is simply by leaving him be and leaving him alone at the bottom of the lineup, I think he'll be okay for the Phillies. So like it or lump it, Bryce Stott, part of the 2026 team and more than likely part of the 2027 Phillies. Now, again, I don't like it, but I think you got to work with what you got here and try to improve upon not bad numbers, really. I mean, they're really not bad numbers. But if you leave a little bit of consistency and continuity and frequency and rhythm and predictability within Bryson Stott's day-to-day lineup appearances, I think those numbers improve drastically, and they get better. So by that, there you have it. Bryson Stott, tonight's Phillies spotlight player. Again, that wasn't the picture of Bryson Stott, of course. Just imagine it was for the purposes of this experiment. All right, that takes us to our final segment of the night. And here we go. We're doing cards again tonight, man. Did 2 last night. We're going to get into another card here, and we're going to wrap things up. So yeah, this is the card review segment, and we're not going to do the hot stove tonight. Tomorrow, we will do the hot stove. We'll finish the week up with the hot stove because I want to finish doing the hot stove. And more players are falling every day, so maybe I do let the hot stove roll another week so we capture as many players as we can. But we will do the hot stove tomorrow. I promise. I know those promises are getting weak with me, but tonight we're going to stay on the theme that we kind of started last night with the 2025 Shohei Ohtani Night Terrors card. We're going to go to another Night Terrors card from 2025. One of the most exciting young players in all of baseball, Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals. And you're looking at his 2025 Topps Chrome Update Series Night Terror card, NT-4. It's a refractor. And again, same sort of style of the Ohtani card. Matter of fact, it's the same exact style. It's a base refractor in that set. Again, Bobby Witt Jr. being one of the more, I wouldn't say wasted talents in baseball because he's playing for Kansas City. Kansas City's slowly but surely trying to rise out of the muck, and Bobby Witt's taking them along the way. But his time is getting short in Kansas City, and he'll hit the open market, I believe, at the end of next year. But if they don't re-sign him, which I imagine they would, he's the face of that franchise. But good young player, a hell of a lot better than his father was, Mike Witt, or Bob Witt, the pitcher. But yeah, Bobby Witt Jr. is a very good player. This is a cool looking card. Again, I told you last night, I love the Night Terrors. I love the design. This card valued in average for an ungraded card about $2 all the way up to about $40 for a PSA 10. So somewhere in the realm of $2 and $40 is what you could conceivably get for this card currently on the open market, depending on if you have a graded card or not. But then not a bad range to play with. I currently have this card listed for about $30 on a site. So cool looking card. Again, I love the Night Terrors. There's a whole bunch of them from the 2025 Topps Update Series Chrome. We talked about the Ohtani card last night, and tonight we're doing the Bobby Witt card. Don't have many Bobby Witt Jr. cards in my collection, maybe like a handful, being a younger player that he is, but they're very good and very valuable cards. They're very lucrative cards. You can make some money off of his cards. And again, this is a cool looking card. So there you have Bobby Witt, the 2025 Topps Update Series Night Terrors card, NT4, and here it is in its physical form. It's the refractor. And how do you know if it's a refractor? Great question. Well, if you look at the card and you look at the picture of the card, if the picture looks like it's jumping out at you, it's a refractor. Now you have the super refractors, which are like this almost like deeper version of 3D, and it really pops at you. But then most of these cards are refractors, not super refractors. Super refractors are pretty rare. But there it is, Bobby Witt 2025 Topps Update Chrome Series NT4 Night Terrors card. And that is going to do it. Another fine episode of the show complete. We're going to wrap it up at about an hour and 5 minutes tonight. We will get back to the hot stove. We will talk Flyers tomorrow because we'll have no choice to, because we have Flyer post game tomorrow. Flyers Senators on Clear the Ice coming up immediately at the end of the game tomorrow, as Mike Lara will have you. And then we'll continue our conversation. But big news tonight. Jared McCain got traded. Farmer Valdez is now a member of the Detroit Tigers. Miguel Andujar, now a member of the San Diego Padres. A lot of news breaking on the network tonight as we were doing this. Miguel Andujar, a now member of the San Diego Padres. Jeff Stoutland, no longer a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. And Vic Fangio reportedly will remain. I say again, he will remain as the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Jeff McClain reported that out about 10 minutes ago. So did the Eagles dodge a bullet with Vic Fangio? And what's going on with the offensive staff? Is Nick Sirianni losing control of his football team? And yes, anybody out there that believes Nick Sirianni is a better coach than John Harbaugh, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say to that. I honestly don't. I mean, can you physically see Nick Sirianni coaching anywhere for 18 years in a row? I mean, no. No. But that conversation will be for another day. I hope you guys have a great night. Take care of yourselves tonight. We'll be back tomorrow, and so will the Gridiron Report, Clear the Ice, and me, as we'll wrap up our week on this show. And one last time, let's show you the schedule. Here's what's coming up on the network for the next few days. Big changes coming next week. Again, I'm hitting the road on Sunday. We'll be coming at you from a different location over the next 2.5 months or so, starting next week. Got to be patient. You know, I'm going to be in and out doing stuff, so it's going to be weird. For those of you that were following me last year around this time when I was down in Alabama, you know what I mean. But all right, we'll talk later tomorrow night. You guys have a great rest of your night. Take care. See ya.